Who should be using Substack as an online business owner? Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've been thinking about it, and that's why you're watching this. I'm going to talk about why it might be okay, but why it's probably not the best route for you. Now, I'm looking at this through the lens of my clients and community, most of which we have less than 10,000 followers or subscribers, maybe up to 100,000 or so, but most of us are smaller online business owners without this ginormous following. And if you haven't used Substack, but you're kind of looking into it and you don't fully understand why people are jumping over to Substack, there's a few main reasons. One, they make it super easy to get in front of new people. There's a Substack app. You can kind of scroll through the feed, find new writers, new content, and get, exposure to a whole new audience. They also make it easy to monetize, so you can charge people to read your content, which is, obviously, like, we all want to make more money, so that's a big draw. And they have it so that you can, get an email notification when there's a new post by someone you're following on Substack. And people like that it's kind of an automatic push without having to manually post this on social media or send it out to your newsletter, and it's just kind of an automatic thing. My issue with Substack is that it's just another place that we are trying to build our brand on someone else's platform. And we already do this enough with Instagram and Facebook and Threads and Pinterest. And if you already spent enough time and energy and money to get a website built for your business, why are you then going to spend more energy building somewhere else instead of sending people to your website? And I know one thing that people like to point out is well, I really want to talk about something else unrelated to my business or unrelated to my niche, which I totally get. And I do think that is maybe the one exception to when it might be okay for you to have a Substack. Like, if I'm a web designer, I'm an SEO strategist. If I wanted to just start talking about motherhood or general business, I would probably put that on Substack. But general business, depending on am I doing it just because? Am I wanting to get into consulting more? Am I trying to teach other designers? Some of that could probably still live on my blog, but it really depends on why you're creating this content. And are you just wanting to write out your thoughts? You're I'm not pointing people to a service or a product. It's strictly just, I want to get into the creative flow of writing, and there's no goal or, ulterior motive behind it, then sure, that might make sense. But for most of us, one, I don't know if very many of us have the extra mental energy and time to just write about things unrelated to the business. And two, why wouldn't we be using that time to blog more about things in our niche and in our area of expertise that would have an ROI when it comes to getting more clients, subscribers, and that kind of thing. The other thing I want to quickly point out, very technical detail, don't switch to Substack for functionality that is actually available on your own website. People like these RSS emails or notifications that can be sent out. You can set that up on your own website, especially if you're using WordPress. And so it just takes, yes, a little bit more time to get that set up and configured, but it's available on your own website, most likely. The next thing I want to talk about is the SEO perspective, because of course, as an SEO strategist and web designer, I'm very into SEO. And so I'm thinking about all this long form content that people are creating and how they might be missing the mark. Now, I have checked some of the most popular Substacks that I'm aware of, and Substack does rank for SEO. It's not super gated content that just is ignored by Google. And so, yes, you can absolutely have Substack articles that rank in Google. That's great. You're still getting even more attention outside of the Substack community, which is great. But then we're not building that SEO on our own domain. We're not building that SEO for our own website, which is what you really should be focusing on. Because for every Substack article that you are writing and publishing, you are building up the SEO and domain authority for Substack and not for yourself. Yes, it's your article that is ranking in Google, but it's a Substack address. And so it's not building your authority, it's building Substacks. And I know some people could do both. This is an option. Two of the people that I have seen on Substack that create on Substack are Emily Lay and Sharon Says So. If you follow them, they're both very well-known people. They both have their own website, but then they also both write on Substack. And for Sharon, I actually think she should be putting it on her own website, but she doesn't. Emily, I can see some of why she is using Substack because some of her content looks like some of it is maybe more personal based, more building more of her personal brand and not related to her planners and notebooks and products that she sells. But this is one key difference between Emily and Sharon and people like you and me. They have millions of followers. They are nationally or internationally known. And so they have the kind of luxury and notoriety that it's not a big deal for them to build on Substack versus their own website. Do I think they still should? Probably, but it's not likely going to hurt their business or their SEO because they are so well known that they can be in multiple places. I do know that also some online business owners are actually using Substack as kind of an archive for their newsletters. And so this is another way you could kind of go about using Substack if you want to try and get some of that reach. But I will say, make sure you do not duplicate content between Substack and your blog. So do not copy and paste a blog post that's currently on your website and put it on Substack, or vice versa, because again, both can rank in Google. Google doesn't like duplicate content, so you want to make sure anything on Substack or your blog is original content. At the end of the day, you really have to think about what are your goals, what is the best use of your time, and where do you want to be building your brand? People are attracted to the exposure that Substack provides, but you have to really think about what is best for your business and your brand in the long term. I would love to hear what you think about Substack. If you are using it, if you've thought about it, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see y'all in the next video.